mercilessly roasting Nika here, but we've had her on the show before. Despite her, just pull up the article. Pull up the article. Okay, you might remember her. She's you stabbed a hookup. Can you give us the brief?
I wouldn't frame it that way, but I'm happy to explain it.
Yeah. Do you want to give us the plot synopsis on the story?
For sure. Yeah. Earlier in the podcast, I mentioned I'm a mental health advocate, and in life, not everybody's going to be perfect. People are going to make mistakes. The mistakes might be small. Might be like you forgot your keys at your house. It might be a mistake that I did at the level that I did. It's definitely not something that I'm proud of, but. I did have a situation in which I wasn't taking my prescribed medications, and with inclusion of drugs and alcohol, again, not an excuse, just providing context. Those kind of situations, especially as someone who is suffering from bipolar and schizophrenia, is kind of challenging in a way because it puts you in an unstable mood. And for those of you who don't know, the hallucinations or the delusions that people have with those conditions are very real, and sometimes it's very hard to distinguish what is real and what is not.
So tell us what happened.
Right, for sure. So I was in Las Vegas, and I moved there to pursue my music career, and I ended up chatting with a guy over on a Plenty of Fish app, and it ended up just progressing, and we ended up he picked me up to go to a hotel for a date, and going from there, it was just sorry, I'm trying to compose myself because it's kind of hard, but I ended up we were having sexual intimacy in a way, and I did harm him and stab him twice in the neck during sex. So,
did he die?
No. Alive and well.
Was your relationship
I was gonna
really volatile towards one another?
Bro, she met him on a dating app. There was no relationship.
Hallucinations.
Yeah. That's why I was let me provide the context first, and then I'll say it because I'm people would just.
Did you bring the knife into the bed, preparing for that?
I mean, it was a hotel room, so I had my knife in my bag, and just because of security, and Vegas is kind of dangerous, and people told me that. So I never had intentions to just go up there and just I don't know, but given the mental health aspect and the hallucinations and the delusions I had, it kind of led up to that. Nothing against him, but sometimes you're not in the right space and you end up creating harm.
Did you go on a second date with him?
I did not. So
did you get in trouble? Did he press charges? Anything?
Yeah, you were arrested, right?
Yeah, and
there's a case.
It was a news article. Of course, things happen.
Well, yeah. So
the case is closed now.
Is it because of mental health?
When you stab, what did he do when you stabbed him?
Wait, what did he is the framing of the question, what did he do to deserve it?
No,
or
both. Honestly, both.
After
100% my delusions, my hallucinations. There wasn't anything that he done that we had conversations in the car, and anything that would it would trigger me. I would see a slot machine, for some reason the lights would be blinking, and it would just make me upset. So you could have the most regular conversation with me, and I would just get upset and mad for no reason.
Okay. And then what did he do after this happened?
Yeah, so the first poke, I guess.
Wow.
He didn't do anything, and then the second time he got up and started choking me, but obviously self-defense.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Well, how did you get it? Were you in jail? What was the consequences of it? Because you are mentally ill. Were you able to not go to, I guess, be sent to jail?
Did you get Baker-acted?
I did go to jail. I bailed out and then had my case going on, and then I ended up taking a plea deal to counts of false imprisonment, which I'm serving probation for currently. And just for clarification, when the news articles are reporting like twice in the neck, stab. That's a wording that I used when the police were interrogating me. But when you look at the evidence and the pictures, the wounds were so minor that he didn't go to the hospital. Again, totally not okay to like, even the smallest wounds are not okay, but just for clarification purposes, the word stab was involved in the case because of my words.
Why did the news article mention Soleimani as did it say that you stabbed him in like revenge against that, or
because like after the incident, the police were questioning me too, like typical, like I guess that's how they do like certain cases, but because of the hallucinations and the delusions I had, I just ended up saying things that I didn't like truly believe in. I don't know if you've seen Homeland, Carrie from Homeland, but she has like, I don't, for anybody who's seen it, it's she has bipolar disorder, and you can kind of see it in that context, and she plays a role that is involved in like movies and like different like interrogations between international relations. And I really thought that I was like, I had to say that, or like I said it. Obviously my words, it's on a video, can't take it back, but just for purposes of the podcast, or like just anybody watching, you 100% do not support Soleimani or anything.
You were in a altered state, and what you told the detective or investigator, you told him that you attacked this Tinder date who you just met as a revenge for the killing of the Soleimani. How do you pronounce his name? Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you were arrested. How long? But you said you bailed out. How long were you in jail?
I was in jail for 6 weeks. And
6 weeks.
Yeah, and
took you. Okay.
But also, like, I bailed out immediately, but I had to stay there for 6 weeks because the judge didn't think I was mentally competent enough to stand trial. So I had to go through like psychological evaluation and competency hearings to even before they even proceed with my case to see if I'm competent.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the trial, you took a plea deal, and part of that plea deal, it got pleaded down to what was the
2 counts of false imprisonment.
2 counts of false imprisonment, and you no jail time, no prison time, correct?
It's suspended under probation, yes.
How much probation did you get?
So it's like 3 to 5 years, but like, I mean, it's the context dependent.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, so
Nick, could you pull up that? There's an article of a California woman who was in a weed-induced psychosis, and she, using her words, poked her boyfriend. She deleted him, and also attacked her dog, and she got off on probation. Can you?
LA Times?
I don't know, just whichever. LA Times typically has blocks or whatever. You got it?
I got it. USA Today.
If there's any paywalls, it's not going to go through. So just, can you pull it up?
Yeah.
I believe I've seen it, maybe, but maybe.
X out that thing at the top, please. Scroll up. No, make it bigger. So this is a somewhat similar case, sort of. She stabbed a man 108 times and got probation. Okay. What to know about she's on weed, I guess. Killed a man and grievously harmed a dog. Now, we kind of talked about this on the previous show. I'm not going to linger on it too long, but if we put a man in your position, if we put a man in that woman's position, the California woman who killed her boyfriend, she got off on probation, bro, there would be significantly long prison sentences. So that's like the most insane example of female privilege I've ever seen.
I mean, I've mentioned it in the previous context, like the podcast, but it's very context specific. There's many different factors that play into it, like previous.
There's no scenario where
criminal background history.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Can you not interrupt and respect when I'm speaking? Thank you.
As the host, I will gladly interrupt you whenever I feel like it.
Okay, well, if you ask a question, then let me know if I can answer it.
It's such an absurd statement to say, like, a man, the same lack of criminal history, if a man were to have sliced his Tinder date, if a man were to have deleted his girlfriend, there would be like very long prison sentences. There wouldn't be probation. There wouldn't be 100 hours of community service, whatever it is.
Can I
It's
answer?
fucking crazy. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It's very context specific, like your previous criminal history, what kind of court you were in, the specific state. Many different state and judges have like different laws and regulations. But also, I think one thing that's really important is to consider that sentencing in the justice system is one factor of the entire justice system. If you look at different things like the amounts of death that happen in prisons, 29% of women are harmed or died in a prison or jail more than a man would. This was
hold on.
A study that was done.
I would have to look at the statistic, but there's no. Are you making the argument that female prisons are less safe than male prisons? Is that your argument?
I haven't done the research on what specific factor is, but I do know that for sure women are more likely unsafe.
Women are more. Oh my! Have you seen prison, like any prison documentary?
I have my phone there. If you want me to pull up the study, I'll bring it.
I would argue.
Oh my, bro! This is like the most. Okay, repeat it one more time.
Like I'll gladly bring it to you. Like it's a study that was done, and it said like women are more likely to die or get harmed in a prison than men are.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Women in prison are much more safe than men in prison.
I mean, I would bring with the study now, but you have your regulations and stuff about the podcast, and I want to be respectful because phones being there. But after a show or
I'm actually curious. There's no way I mean, Nick, you can Google it.
It's plausible because like, what if there's more?
Holy fuck, bro!
Oh my god! I was gonna say, what if there's more?
It's plausible.
Well, what if it's more like there's more security or something like that in men's prison? I don't know. I wouldn't know, but maybe.
My argument is that women are affected differently by going to prison versus men. Like when women go to prison, they're more likely to maybe reform and do something about their lives versus men. It takes maybe a longer sentence or something harsher to like teach them the lesson that makes them change.
What's that movie with Nikolai Kaldu? Who's the guy from Game of Thrones who played Jaime Lannister? What's that movie he's in? Anybody know?
No.
What's that? Anybody in the chat? The movie with the Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones, Nikolai? Shot Caller. Bro, imagine they made that movie, but like flip the genders. There's no way, dude. There's no way. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I don't have a study.
Going back to the point, it's just like the justice system. You have your sentencing, you have the experience in prison. Like there's different like things that are considered things that you would want to look at when you like are trying to see if a certain gender is preferred or not. But yes, sentencing, that might be the case, but in different circumstances.
So you were there for 6 weeks?
Yes.
Did you see any violence or anybody get harmed while you were there?
Yes.
Did you get harmed?
I did not. But, you know.
What was like when you mentioned like unsafe, what was like the safety issue that you saw?
Like fights being breaking out, people just like.
You see anybody like get shanked or something?
Like poked? Honestly, I'm not gonna like go into detail on that, but there was like fights that I saw or people just getting pulled out and put in different areas, or, you know.
Yeah, the study doesn't sound plausible. I mean, I would want to see it. No,
Nick,
the 29%
did you
study,
Google
I
it?
would want to see that for sure.
Did you Google this, Nick?
Shanked in high school, my freshman year, after coming from Baptist school. So.
I also feel like there's a big difference between saying they got harmed.
Yo, Nick,
and
the
they
audio
died.
is muted.
What is harm?
Yes, a man could get the death sentence in a state that allows it, if he did that crime she did to the man. Like omg.
Yo, James, thank you for the TTS. Sorry that we missed the beginning of it. I'm studying criminal justice. A man could get the death sentence in a state that allows it if he did that crime, so she did to the man, like OMG.
I think there was another $100 that
Yo, we missed. Nick, yeah. Why was the audio muted? All right, here, I'll retrigger it. I'm not trying to be blank here, but if the roles were reversed with the same mental issues, the man would face a harsher sentence in jail or prison. Thank you, Bender the Offender. Appreciate it.
And in response to that,
I 100% agree with you, Bender the Offender.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So in response to that, obviously mental health played a really big, significant factor, but I also had 0 criminal history, was doing really well in school. And
the Bronasons donated $100. Is Jojo going to auction that chair she's sitting on? Asking for a friend, say Christ is Lord.
Who's Jojo?
That's me.
Oh gosh. Okay, he's back.
Starting again.
He's back. How much? Wait, the Bronasons. Actually, I think he DM'd me on Instagram. I'll sell it to you for like